So Scratch Tales, as I said earlier, is based around the Aesop's fable of the lion and the mouse. If you want to, and your class is covering a particular book, you can change this and use your story, okay? Or you could even have the children write their own story to use within the Scratch Tale if you want to. So this is very adaptable in terms of what you can use within the unit itself. Or you can use all the pre-made example materials, which are all based around the lion and the mouse. I'll show you what some of that looks like in a minute. So they start by planning an interactive story. They think about things like the scene and the narrator and the characters and the plot. So you're very much bringing in that lovely cross-curricular work where they're really working on their English language and writing stories. And then they move into things like creating their characters. So they're going to have a narrator in their story, what that's going to look like, and then building different backdrops for their game, for their story. And eventually they start to work on actually adding the programming for the story as well. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is a starting point of what they actually start with. So don't worry, this looks quite complicated. They're given this as a completed version, as a starting point that they can use to then adapt it. So we're not expecting students at this stage to write all this code in one go. So let's have a little look at what the story looks like. I'm going to read the story to you. Hopefully you're ready for a bit of story time. This is The Lion and the Mouse, and just to give you an illustration of what it looks like as a starting point. So we've got something different going on straight away because the students have been learning within this unit what a selection statement is, what an if statement is. So in this case, we're being asked, would we like to hear a story? And of course, the answer is yes. And I click on the tick and we're going to start our story. I shall tell you about the lion and the mouse. Once there was a lion sleeping in the jungle. A mouse began running up and down on him. This quickly woke up the lion. He caught the mouse under his paw. The little mouse pleaded with the lion to let him go and offered him his help. The lion thought that the idea of a mouse helping him was so funny, he let the mouse go. One day, some hunters caught the lion and tied him up. Then they left to get their wagon and take him to the zoo. And that's where it stops. So the idea is that the students who will have already heard the story, because the first lesson is about reading the story that they're going to be creating their Scratch story for, will then complete the story. So they can either complete the story based around what they've already heard, or they can come up with their own original ending. And they are using some of the similar skills that they've already used previously. They're using broadcast blocks again. Difference here is that they're using backdrops to illustrate their story. And you can see there's different backdrops here for each part of the story that you saw as I showed you what happens in the program. So in this example, they would then have to add the extra elements that they need. And this is, again, all talked through. Step-by-step instructions are included in the digital resources for the unit. And it explains exactly what students need to produce within the student book as well. So that's Scratch Tales, and nice fun activity for students to really bring on their skills in writing creatively as well.